Now, this time I want to see everybody running around the house throwing their arms in the air. You guys ready? About a week later, Epaminandus was running wild around the house. Here we go. And his mama says what? Epaminandus, you are driving me crazy. Go to your grandma's house. Epaminandus says, okay, Mom. He left that house. He went over that great big hill to his grandma's house. He knocked on the door. Here we go. Pump, 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 pump. Pump, 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 pump. His grandma opened the door and said, why, Epaminandus, it's good to see you. What are you doing here? And Epaminandus said, Mama sent me here because I was driving her crazy, huh? But that's okay. Because even if you make your mama crazy, who will always love you? They had a wonderful day. They went out to the barn to clean it up. They pitched the hay. They fed the chickens and the pigs and the geese. They brushed down the billy goats. And right before it was time to go home, his grandma said, I got a special surprise for you today. He said, what you got, Grandma? She took him out to the back of the barn where there was a great big old pile of straw. And playing around in the straw were puppies. Oh, yes. His grandma picked up a puppy. She said, now, Epaminandus, your mama says you can have a puppy. Oh, thank you, Grandma. He took that puppy. He went outside. He put that puppy in the ground. Puppy started running all around his feet. He said, now, wait a minute. How did my mama say to bring something home if it was running? Epaminandus picked up the puppy. He took it to the nearest stream. He cooled it in the water and cooled it in the water and cooled it in the water until the puppy was going. He carried it on home. His mama took one look at it. She said, oh my. She picked up that puppy. She dried it off. She laid it in front of the fireplace. And just in case anybody was worried, the puppy was just fine. His mama put her hands on her hips and she said, Epaminandus, you ain't got the sense you was born with. That is no way to treat a living thing. When you have a living thing, you take a piece of string or a piece of rope, tie it real gentle around the living thing, and then real careful lead it home. Now, can you remember that? What does Epaminandus say? Okay, Mom. He went down faster than an antelope had come up. Musa, 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 hey! He started spinning around like a pinball, bounced off the trees. He was moving through those trees faster than an antelope. Musa, 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 ha! Boom! Woman jumped out, stopped Turtle with her foot. Where you going? What you doing? Turtle stood up. He said, I am learning the most wonderful song and dance. She said, no, you're not. You're trying to remember the name of this fruit that grows on that tree in the middle of the plain, aren't you? He said, I know the name of that fruit. It is Musa, 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 hey! She said, it is Mwanga, 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 Shawanga, Mwanga. Turtle said, It is Musa, 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 hey! Get away from me. That woman dropped that fruit, stomped into the trees, and Turtle danced and sang his way back to the rest of the animals. And when he got there, they said, did you learn the name of that fruit? He said, it is Musa, 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 hey! And Lion said, I got it. Musa, 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 hey! The owl said, oh, I got it. Musa, 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 oh! She ran to the tree. They all ran to the tree. They pulled those fruits off. They bit into them. They were so sweet and so juicy. It was like eating and drinking at the same time. And the Creator was so proud of them. He sent down a refreshing shower of rain. A voice called him from the side of the road. Good morrow, King Arthur. He stopped. He looked. He didn't see anything. Just an old tree stump. He got ready to ride on. He heard that voice again. I said, good morrow, King Arthur. He stopped. He looked. And he realized what he had taken for a tree stump was actually a woman. She was short, with a twisted back and bandied legs. legs. Her arms were so long, her knuckles scraped the ground. Each of her fingers ended in a long, sharp, black talon. Her face was a mass of warts, each one with its own little frilly protrusion. One of her eyes was up on her forehead. One was down on her cheek. She had a little thin slit for a nose, and her lipless mouth hung slack, exposing 2 rows of broken, jagged, green and yellow teeth. A constant stream of drool ran down her slack lip, over her warty chin, and soaked the patched and dirty rags she'd tied together for a dress. Her scalp was scabrous, with little patches of white hair poking up here and there. But the hair under her arms was long and blowing in the wind. And the smell! The smell! But the king said, "Now let us retire to the dancing." And Dame Ragnell said, "Oh no, it's time for bed." The king said, "Surely you won't go to the bridal chamber so soon." "Yes." He looked to Gawain for some help. Gawain said, "As my lady wishes, so we will." And so the 2 of them went down the hall to the bridal chamber. And when they got there, Sir Gawain opened up the hope chest his mother had made for him and put the fine linens on the bed and the fine coverlet. And then he pulled out the thickest pajamas he could find, put them on, got into bed, pulled the covers up and closed his eyes. And Dame Ragnell said, "Oh no, your day is not finished yet." And Gawain had a moment of great anger. "What does this woman want from me? I married her. My life is this." And then he stopped because he realized something. As hard as it was for him to look at her, how much harder was it for her to know that for the rest of his life, he would look at something he despised. And Gawain's heart melted, and he decided that for the rest of her life, she would need to be able to look into one pair of eyes that loved her. And those eyes were going to have to be his. And so he sat up and pulled the coverlet down and said, "Lady, as I am your husband, welcome to your new home." And she began to laugh. And that laugh changed from coarse, harsh sound to a beautiful, musical sound. And Gawain watched as his wife was no more the Dame Ragnell, but transformed into this tall, beautiful woman with long red hair and green eyes. And he thought, thank God. But then he stopped and said, "What is this? Where is my wife? Where is Dame Ragnell?" And she said, "I am Dame Ragnell. When my mother died, she left all of our lands to me. And my brother, the Green Knight, was angry that any woman should have sovereignty over him. And he turned me into Dame Ragnell and said I should stay as such until I found someone who was willing to marry me as I was. And because you have done that, you have broken half the curse." Gawain said, "What's the other half?" And she said, "I may be like this half the time. Beautiful at day, the wretch at night. Or beautiful at night and the wretch during the day. Choose." I think this might have been the original loaded question. And Gawain thought about it. He thought about it. And he said, lady, if you are beautiful during the day, then you will be accepted at court. You will have many friends, and your life during the day will be wonderful, but at night it will be difficult. But if I choose for you to be beautiful with me, blessing our marriage bed, during the day you will be hated at court, spat upon, turned away. I can't make that decision for you. Lady, do what you will. And she smiled, and she said, and now you have broken the whole curse, for you have given me what a woman wants most, her own way. And since I get my own way, I choose to be beautiful during the day and at night. And so, the next morning, the king and his courts, they thought Gawain would come screaming out of that room. But he didn't appear. And they thought maybe she got hungry during the night and she'd eaten him. And they ran down the hall and they beat upon the doors and they opened the doors and they had interrupted something. And Sir Gawain explained the whole story and they apologized and left. And 6 months later, King Arthur gave them a new wedding. A new wedding to honor them and for their great love. And they became the greatest lovers in the kingdom. And even though a lot of women were still not terribly happy about it, they did accept it and they told the story. Gentles all, if you would keep the women in your lives happy, give them what they want most, their own way. Thank you.